Try to imagine what your life would be like if you could achieve all your dreams and live the way you always wanted. Have you ever wondered what your life would be like without feeling the grip of poverty? Try to imagine your life without the daily thoughts you have about all the things that are wrong, all the things that make you feel bad. In this video, through a Buddhist story, you will discover an ancient ritual of wisdom and spirituality that has the power to ward off poverty and pave the way to a life of prosperity. In the story you are about to hear, we talk about the cinnamon ritual, a journey to true wealth. That wealth that is not measured in money, but in prosperity and happiness, in inner peace and in love. So stay with us until the end of the video because it will be a fascinating journey of spirituality and personal growth. And in the second half of the video, we will reveal the true symbolic and spiritual implications of this ancient Buddhist practice. But before we continue, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to stay informed when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. On a frosty winter morning, in the shadow of the sacred volcano, in the grounds of an ancient Buddhist temple, the monk Dayu awaited dawn with his disciples. Their souls were troubled by a question that had tormented humanity since ancient times: how to free ourselves from the grip of poverty. Dayu, with his enigmatic smile and penetrating gaze, gathered them around the crackling fire. The crackling of dancing flames created an atmosphere of calm and contemplation, while the scent of green tea lingered in the air. Today, I will teach you an ancient ritual that has the power to ward off poverty forever, Dayu announced in a calm voice. It is not just a magic formula, but an introspective journey to discover true wealth. From her saffron robe, Dayu took out a sachet of fragrant cinnamon. The disciples, intrigued, came closer to admire the precious spice. Its warm, enveloping aroma permeated the temple, creating an atmosphere of mysticism. Cinnamon, Dayu explained, is not only a prized spice, but also a symbol of abundance and prosperity. You should know that its beneficial properties give strength to the body and purify the mind, opening the mind to new possibilities. After beginning with these words, Dayu invited the disciples to close their eyes and concentrate on their breathing. The faint light of the candles illuminated their faces, tense in attentive concentration born of the deep desire to listen to the wisdom of their mentor. Imagine poverty as a dark shadow that envelops you, Dayu said solemnly. Feel the weight of its oppression weighing on your shoulders and preventing you from flying high. With delicate gestures, the monk lit a brazier and poured a pinch of cinnamon onto the burning embers. Thick, aromatic smoke billowed out, enveloping the disciples in a warm embrace. Now, Dayu continued, take a deep breath and imagine that the aroma of cinnamon dissolves the shadow of poverty, purifying your soul and freeing you from the chains of fear. The disciples, immersed in deep meditation, let themselves be carried away by the intoxicating scent of cinnamon. In doing so, they focused on visualizing poverty gradually disappearing, giving way to a feeling of inner peace and confidence in the future. At the end of the ritual, Dayu invited them to open their eyes. Their faces were radiant, illuminated by a new awareness. Remember, the monk warns, true wealth lies not in material things, but in the depths of our soul. Cinnamon is just a way to connect us to our inner abundance. In the following days, the disciples continued to practice the cinnamon ritual, enjoying its benefits not only for the spirit, but also for the body. Cinnamon, in fact, has anti-inflammatory, digestive, and antioxidant properties, which strengthen the immune system and provide well-being to the body. Dayu's ancient teaching opened new horizons in the lives of the disciples. Poverty is no longer an insurmountable obstacle, but an opportunity to grow and evolve. They learned to cultivate gratitude for what they had, however little, and to appreciate the beauty in small things. Their existence was transformed into a journey of inner discovery in search of true wealth, inner peace, joy of living, and unconditional love. The story of the cinnamon ritual quickly spread throughout the country, reaching beyond the temple boundaries and reaching villages and towns. People, attracted by the promise of freedom from poverty, flocked to Dayu to learn the ritual. And the monk, with his wisdom and compassionate soul, welcomed everyone with a smile and taught them the practice with dedication. The temple thus became a place of pilgrimage for those who desired a better life, not only materially, but also spiritually. The cinnamon ritual was simple and accessible to everyone. It didn't require expensive items or special skills, just a pinch of cinnamon and a sincere desire for change. In homes, temples, and squares, the smell of cinnamon mingled with the prayers and hopes of a people who aspired to a more prosperous life. And over time, the benefits of the ritual became evident. Material poverty began to decrease, while inner wealth increased in people's hearts. Compassion, generosity, and collaboration flourished in communities, creating a climate of harmony and mutual trust. Dayu not only taught the ritual, but offered his disciples and all who encountered him a valuable life lesson. True wealth is not possessed, but cultivated. It resides deep within our soul and is made up of priceless values such as love, compassion, gratitude, and inner peace. Cinnamon, with its warm and enveloping aroma, has become a symbol of this inner richness. A little talisman that reminded everyone of the power to transform their lives through connection with their deepest essence. Master Dayu, a disciple, asked, "This ritual teaches us that true wealth is what we have inside, and that we must cultivate with compassion and gratitude. But can this also have positive consequences on practical aspects, and therefore on our economic life?" "Of course," replied the monk, "because when we dedicate ourselves to our inner growth, our lives become fuller and richer, both spiritually and economically. In fact, if we are positive and calm, we can see opportunities that we would not otherwise see. And above all, we can work more constructively by making concentration one of our strengths." Remember that the cinnamon ritual is not a simple gesture, but an introspective journey that leads us to discover our true essence. Cinnamon, with its warm and enveloping aroma, represents the inner fire that burns within us. The flame that we light during the ritual symbolizes the light of consciousness that illuminates our path. The pinch of burnt cinnamon represents the offering we make to the divine, our most intimate and precious part. And the scent that comes from cinnamon is like a prayer that rises to heaven, a message of hope and rebirth. The cinnamon ritual teaches us to cultivate gratitude for what we have, to recognize the beauty and abundance that surround us. This reminds us that true wealth is not possessed, but cultivated. It resides deep within our soul and is made up of priceless values such as love, compassion, generosity, and inner peace. The cinnamon ritual is an invitation to live an authentic and meaningful life, in harmony with ourselves and with creation. It helps us free ourselves from the chains of materiality and connect to our deepest essence. It is a path of inner growth that allows us to discover true wealth, that which is not measured in money, but in happiness, love, and inner peace. Practicing the cinnamon ritual allows us to ignite the flame of consciousness within us, to open our hearts to compassion and love. And again, cultivate gratitude for what we have, recognize the beauty and abundance that surround us, and live an authentic and meaningful life in connection with our deepest essence. And this is why the cinnamon ritual is still passed down today, from generation to generation, as ancient wisdom that lights the path to true prosperity. A true path of spiritual culture that will not only lead us to improve our lives, but will make a clear contribution to the world around us. This ritual from the Buddhist spiritual tradition is a teaching for a life full of meaning, prosperity, and inner peace. It is absolutely not a magic formula for obtaining material wealth, but a path of spiritual growth that will lead us to true inner wealth and help us discover our true values.